Hello Tubesters, it's Gav. Welcome to another video. Today we're going to have another look at the tiger on its base. Now I'm doing this because it's right here. It's not completed yet 100%. I keep seeing this. Honestly, I'm not trying to push these videos out. I really want to, not so much see the back of this because I've really enjoyed it. I got to the stage, I had a bit of trouble building the tracks on the tank, as you know. Had a bit of fitment issues, which were my own fault, not the kids. Then I had the base. I'd got the basic blue foam all down, and the foam back card, something like that. The one I've done the wall section of, anyway. And it was sat there for a shortish while whilst doing other projects, and you know when you're just thinking, this is a bad idea. I should have just done the tank, moved on to the next one. But I'm not pushing through kits like they're on a conveyor belt. It's not what I do. You see me doing lots of stuff, but that's because I'm at my bench all the time. Even before lockdown started, I've just done nothing but painting soldiers, and obviously started my kits a couple of years ago, and that's followed through, so I never really leave my bench. One moment guys, I'm going to have to change the battery. Right, where were we? I do believe I was rambling away. Really, as was it Shakespeare said, much ado about nothing. Yeah, Gav knows Shakespeare. Not really. I really don't. Doesn't live too far up the road actually, or didn't. Anyway, I'm digressing. Yeah, I don't, I do my kits and my figures for the pleasure I get out of doing them. I do not understand people that do kits and figures and, oh, I don't like it, or, what's the point? Move on, do something else. It's a short time we're on this planet, enjoy what you're doing. And so I genuinely enjoy making my models, painting my figures of all scales on the figure side of it. So yeah, I've really got into this little dio, or large dio to me, but it is drawing to a close. I just wanted to show you these next bits. I'm having a bit of trouble, which I'll come to in a minute, on the cobblestones, and until I showed you those two figures, I'm about to clean them up. I was hoping to do them last night but ran out of time. I'm going to clean them up for a priming session tomorrow, and then they can get painted during the week, and hopefully then I need to dust over with my airbrush a bit of varnish on some bits and pieces that are a bit shiny. But until the figures are on, I'm not 100% sure I want to mooch around with the actual cobblestone areas themselves. A lot more of it will probably have a bit of debris and stuff on it yet. But until the figures are actually like in position, I don't want to put them in afterwards and then find they're not sitting right because there's debris in the way, because I only have a small amount of room now, which I'll go into in a second. So join me at the bench. We'll have another look at this tiger, and then I do believe I may do one, just because I enjoy putting videos out, I may do one of the figures on a piece of wire. Oh, look what I've done. Or you might just see it all done in one go, it just depends. Tomorrow the Chevy gets its paint. I was hoovering out the, pointing here because that's where my spray booth is, I was hoovering out all the crud and dust that accumulates behind the filters, hoovered them all out today. I'm going to put some wet towel down and stuff. I haven't got one of them squeegee bottles, so I'm a bit stuffed for that, but doing my best. And the Chevy will get some paint on it tomorrow, or the beginning of some paint anyway, and we'll see how she looks. And that's about it really. And then when this one, Chevy, the Chevy will just be tied into when I can do the paint, because I'm sure I've got two types of paint on it to a start, and then I've got to polish it and all the rest of it. So we'll see where that one goes on paint side of it. But if I end up with a clear run where all I'm doing is painting my commission figures, my Wargames figures for paid work, I usually then try and squeeze at least every other night. I try and squeeze a couple of hours of gluing in that. So I'll go on to the T34, but they'll shout that out as, hey, I'm here in the group build. So anyway, ramble all over the shop again. Let's get down to the bench, like I said about half an hour ago, and we'll have a look at the target. Right guys, we've got the big guns out now. I've got the big tripod. Hopefully you can see. I've turned a couple of lights off because they were, I don't know about you guys, you either end up bleaching everything out with the colours. Let's just see if we can knock that down slightly. We'll go with that for now. Let me just move this chair. Right, we can see, let's see if we can get in closer. If you have a look, I've put the blackout screens over that side of the tank, and some when I turn it around you'll see on the other side. Again, if you don't know, I'm not trying to insult people as in, but there's some people that just aren't into it. You might just be passing through or into cars and you don't really know much of the war. Blackout screens, all they are heavy draped curtains. They go over windows, over doors. If you're a few thousand feet up in an enemy bomber, which side in the war you were on, it didn't really matter. You could see obviously a lit up town from a mile away. I remember U-boat captains when they were on the east coast of the United States were saying there wasn't enough blackout and you could just see the towns and cars going up and down the roads, and they used to use those as navigational beacons. Well, the aircraft do exactly the same. So all over the place in the war you had a blackout. Everything had to be you'll see that anyway, car lights with the little slits just across where a bit of light comes out. You weren't supposed to use torches. This is like in the UK. Everything was literally pitch black, just so that you could hopefully stop the bombers, not just finding particular cities and towns, but also finding literally roads. They would know a railway junction or a road junction, so everything possible was done to stop light going out the houses and the factories and that's what they did. Now, I'm just using photographic references online that I've seen of, I believe it was Berlin, and there were several King Tigers there that had got, and I believe Panthers as well. These blackout screens, they'd obviously got them out of bombed out buildings, shelled out buildings, and were literally just draping them over the tanks in parts just to try and break up the silhouette slightly. As we can see with this sandy green Tiger, how well that came across, I'm not too sure, but that's what they did. And they put wires, I've seen them put wires, I've seen them put what looked like ropes, and even looked like torn up bits of the same screen just to tie off onto anything that obviously like they could. You can obviously see as well on some Tigers where they've been ripped up or shelled off or just fallen off, and that's what I've just tried to create here, where there was a few more but they've all been, concussion waves have just knocked them off in places. I've also added a few bricks. Now the bricks need another dry brush. I usually use silver grey, and that's what I've used on a lot of these rubbly bits and pieces, because it gives it a nice, and it's also what I use on my, if you're a war gamer and you're doing the war game bases, silver grey, wipe it off on a kitchen towel so it's really dry, and then dry brush it over your sand, your painted sand if it's brown, and it gives you a nice effect. And I do believe it does the same on these, on a larger scale with these guys. So yeah, that's about it. Again, let's go pointy stick time. Got to clean this bench off. You can't see particularly well, can you? Let's go back a bit, Gav. Sorry about shaky cam again. Oh, here we go. We've got, let me see if we can move that slightly to get her in. No, not really. So let's go track this way. Listen to me. Hey, sounding like a professional. Right. If we can see in the rubble there. No, we can't see. Come on, focus. Yeah, I've tried to do things like newspapers and just general office papers, you know, a bit of squiggly writing on, dipped in a bit of PVA with a bit of paint in it just to give it a bit of texture. I've not done a load. I got the idea off the box art actually for those figures, but I've added a few of those in. Can we see whether I put any cans? I used my old paintbrush tubes again, filled in the bottom of some of them, cut them off, sorry, filled the tube in at the base, made some rusty cans, and there's some more on the other places. Let's see if we can move this thing around without knocking everything over. Come on, go move it back. And again, we've got bits of newspaper or office papers floating around, a few more cans. I've put like an arrow's being chalked onto the side, telling a unit or something to go that way for whatever reason. I think the barricades come up well. Don't know if we can get in closer. I've made a steel and slightly rust effect on that, and I've put a graphite pencil, well obviously a pencil graphite up and down. It doesn't show as well under the strong lights here, but it does give a metalled look to it. Right, this isn't as easy as it looks. Right, that's our blackout curtains again. Bit more paper under the barricade there. Again, I've put rocks, I should say, bricks, busted up bricks again, and bits of debris on the blackout curtains. They're quite soft obviously, so they'd hold a bit. And I put bricks where they'd naturally slide off the tank or go into more recessed areas, anything where they've bounced along a flat surface. And come on, I'll go. Try to go for a not too contentious writing. I looked online to a decal company that makes this type of thing, and I wanted to make that like a bit of a slapped on paint look. I didn't particularly want the drips of paint as you see sometimes, because some of them didn't have them from what I saw. I've done some bullet holes. They're not particularly well. I didn't want to do a load of them, but there's bullet holes in there. Again, bits of the odd tin can, the odd bit of paper. I'm still working out if I need to put anything else. We've got some, as I say, a few roof tiles. And that's about it really, guys. He tries desperately to tighten this up before it falls over. So that's our diorama. I say this is the problem at the moment. It's obviously it just looks like black, or just nothing really. As you can see, I've come a bit of a cropper because we just go back very slightly, so we're making sure we get the base out. This is the only area I've got to put those two figures, so I'm hoping, because they're dragging that handcart, I don't want them to, if it got to a stage where they were too bodged in there and it just didn't look natural, then I won't put them on, but I would prefer to put them on because I think that just tells a bit more of the story. So we see a bit something like somebody's walked into something there. I bought this, it's like pumice, like black lava they call it, but when you actually read it, it says it's got bits of flint in it. So I don't know what actually that is, but look at that. And that's how it comes out. Well, no, it doesn't come out like that, it comes out like this. But I mixed a bit of stuff in, which made it end up look like something we don't want to think about. If you're going to use it, they say if you want to slurry it down more, use more or less, it says gloss medium, so I take it that means the varnish. I don't know. I'll take it is very, very varnishy, glossy I should say. So I've got to be doing something with that. I did put it on the side there thinking I was gonna have a nice, very, very thin granular effect. It just didn't look right, so although the granular effect is there, I've gone over it again, which I was going to do anyway, with some dusting it with some acrylic paint, just dry brushed on and stippled on. Yeah, it's that's going to have to be sorted. That's not too much of a problem, but yeah, it is really just a bit more debris around here, but it's just thinking of what I'm going to do with it at the moment. So that is it. As I say, the next one, there may be a single video up just showing the figures painted, and then there'll be one final reveal where I will have taken care, hopefully, of all this type of stuff. But really enjoyed this. I've got no room to keep it. Probably will get ripped to shreds and thrown in the bin, or cannibalised, I've no idea. But it's been really fun to do. I couldn't do one of these all the time, they just take too much time of my own time up for me. Most of my vehicles will be without bases, but yeah, I've really enjoyed doing that. So guys, thank you very much for stopping by and taking a look. I hope everything's going well with you. I'm going to put this to one side, clean these figures off, and then dig out this blooming bench of mine, because again, I've literally, what you can see is what I'm painting on at the moment, and that or building on, and that's just about it. So look after yourselves. Keep your heads down, keep building, keep painting, keep doing all the things you like to do, and we will catch each other very soon on another video. Cheers.